Thank you, Fliss, for joining us. Let's just amplify that. If I could ask you first to give us your name and your company and broadly what you do.
Sure. I'm Fliss Berridge and I'm one of 5 co-founders of Ordo. Ordo is an open banking enabled platform, and we provide payments as a service to a variety of companies, from micro businesses, sole traders and SMEs, up to enterprise corporate clients. So we've got a range of solutions like our app and web self-service solution, through bulk upload capability up to API integration, as well as integrations with Xero, QuickBooks and Sage to help SMEs with their bookkeeping and the like.
Company, when was it set up?
We set up in 2018.
Oh, wow, okay. And I believe you said you're one of the founders. Was there any sort of initial idea that said this is an area that's not being serviced properly, we can do something? How did you come about the idea?
So like you said, I'm one of 5 founders, and we're actually the previous management team of Faster Payments. So the payment service that services all online and mobile banking in the UK. We ran Faster Payments, and whilst we were there, we set up the Access project to open up the Faster Payment system to all manner of sorts of banking entities and non-bank entities. So we set up a new program for them to be able to participate. And then Faster Payments was consolidated into Pay UK, and we decided that as we had contributed to the request for payment, as it was narrowly set about, a concept defined whilst we were working at Faster Payments, that as we had all that knowledge and contributed to the idea, that we would set up a company to build a request for payment service. And so that was our first solution that we built. And we went live on the 23rd of March 2020, which was the UK's first lockdown. So we're struggling through a pandemic too. And throughout the pandemic, of course, everyone had to go online quickly, more quickly than they perhaps would have done otherwise. And so we found a greater variety of online and contactless and e-commerce solutions were needed. So we expanded our solutions to e-commerce and QR code point of sale and so on.
Great way forward. Okay. So from this may be a wide question because you cover a number of different audiences, but so thinking about the SME payment side, maybe the end user journey, how does that work for your customers in that arena?
Okay, so if you're a SME, you as the entity collecting payment, you sign up and register with Ordo. That takes about 3 minutes, we've timed it. And we only collect the amount of data that we absolutely need to provide the service, and you connect your account that you want to be paid into as a business. We do a lookup on that account to make sure it's yours and you are who you say you are. And then once you raise an invoice for your customer, you log into our secure platform and create what we call a smart request, because it's not just a request for payment, it's a smart request for payment. It includes the business's invoice reference. It includes a reference that your payer will recognize, so not something useless for the payer like invoice 1234. Yeah. Includes the amount and the due date, and the business can decide whether to allow their customer to ask for an extension to pay and whether they can part pay.
Oh, okay.
They then send that payment request securely across our platform, and the customer receives a secure link either by SMS or text, or they receive a QR code across message platforms like WhatsApp and Signal and so on. The customer doesn't have to have registered with Ordo to pay. They just click the one-time use secure tokenized link. They can immediately see who's asking them to pay and for how much and by when. We show them the exact account title that we were shown by the bank, so there can be no fraud or mistaken identity. Yeah. And within a few clicks, the customer is taken into their own bank domain where Ordo has set up the payment for them. And providing the customer wants to pay and recognises the payment and so on, they click an authorised payment themselves within their own banking domain in their usual way. And then the money goes direct from the customer's bank account to the biller's bank account instantly using the Faster Payment rails. So it's the Faster Payment rails, which means it's nearly instant, it's in real time, and it's at much lower unit cost than, say, using the card network. So it saves a lot of money for the SMEs.
Yeah, okay.
And then back with the SME, that payment lands in their account immediately and in full without any fees deducted, fully reconcilable with the reference that they put in the invoice. So all of the reconciling and accounts that they used to have to do of an evening if they took card or bank transfer payments is now done automatically for them by Ordo.
Okay, and yeah, good. And I did see somewhere 20 pence maximum per transaction. Does that apply to that particular?
Yep, that's right. Our model is you buy bundles of smart requests and it's never more than 20p plus VAT.
Benefits then for the bank or other financial institutions with your solution, does that come into it?
Well, the benefits for the bank, open banking was aimed at SMEs and businesses in the market who have been underserved by the banks traditionally. So open banking and PSD2, the Payment Services Directive, was aimed at enabling fintechs like Ordo and our agile, up-to-date technology. It's secure. We're all regulated by the FCA. So our system has been checked, we have been checked, and the FCA regularly monitors us. Yeah. And so PSD2 was set up to enable fintechs like us to provide innovative, competitive services to businesses because the banks weren't providing services to the SMEs who are mostly ill-served by the banking market so far.
So it gave them an alternative route round the bank, effectively. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're obviously working in the UK. That's one of your markets. Anywhere else in Europe you're doing stuff?
We're focused in the UK at the moment, like you say. PSD2 is across Europe, but actual bank implementation of the APIs that are needed is most advanced in the UK. And so that's what we're working with. We're connected to 98% of the retail banking market in the UK and 100% of the banks that offer open banking in the UK. But we do have plans to move to Europe very soon, yes.
Any particular markets you see as being good potential for the next step?
Well, there's a few countries that stand out that have got hot fintech areas and harbours and attract good talent. I can't reveal where we might be.
I don't really if it's commercially sensitive, of course, don't worry.
Yeah. But definitely Europe and the Americas and then Asia as well. I mean, there's open banking in pockets that's more advanced in other places. So it's dependent on the legislation being there and also the technology as well as a willingness for adoption. In
getting this from where you started to where it is now, greatest challenge or challenges involved?
Greatest challenge, let me see, you've got me there.
You're going to say.
I think the greatest challenge is we got going in July 2018 and open banking payments initiation. Open banking consists of two main segments of service, AIS, account information services, and PIS, payment initiation services. And AIS, the account information has taken off. That's quite easy for people to grasp. You can see all your account information in one place, you compare deals and so on. Payments initiation is a bit more difficult to explain. People usually just think payments is the plumbing and the pipes behind the scenes that they don't really want to know about. And people are quite wedded to how they pay today. They've got ways to pay today. They can make a bank transfer or a card. And then if you couple that with open banking is in the area that people feel generally nervous about. If people feel nervous about anything, it can often be either finances or technology. And open banking is finance and technology. Yes.
So you've got two whammies there to try and work out. Yeah.
So there's some education and communication to do for businesses and consumers to learn that actually, although this is new, open banking enabled payments actually gives them instant payment transfer. It's far more secure than sending an emailed invoice, for example, with fraud interception. It's much cheaper than taking card payments. It will sort out all your reconciliation and time spent on that. And from a customer perspective, they get a secure link and notifications in this thing that they probably have in their hand all the time, which is their smartphone, and they can pick it up, click the link, the secure link, and within a few clicks have paid their bill and it's done and dusted and they don't have to think about it anymore. So it's getting across those benefits that will drive adoption of this new and somewhat nerve-wracking
that's the challenge. That's the challenge.
And that's our challenge.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. we've talked about Europe as well before, and I think you already said that there would be other parts of the world that you'd also be thinking about. And again, without any, maybe just confirmation that you are looking at other parts of the world, because if it's confidential, we don't want to pry into it at this stage. Yeah. Okay. So what do you see for the next 2 to 5 years for open banking generally and your business specifically?
Yeah, well, the next thing that everyone's talking about in open banking is yet another acronym, VRP, variable recurring payments. So that will be the repeated payments that SMEs do and consumers have. So at the moment, open banking covers just about every kind of single immediate payment that people make. And that's great for ad hoc payments, payments that are every now and then. But people also have in their lives those boring payments that crop up again and again that traditionally some people pay by direct debit today. And direct debit's great, it's if you can afford it, but it does take up a long time to set up. And it's not great if you're on a 0 hours contract, or if you're got a portfolio career, or if your income tends to come in lumps, be it a high or low income. A direct debit going out once a month on the same day, no matter what your income has been, it doesn't fit how society works anymore. So variable recurring payments, the first initiation of that will be to replace or give an enhanced service on direct debit. So it can be that repeated payment, but without having to authorize it every single time, providing that payment sits within certain parameters that the business and consumer have agreed. And that might be, if it's no more than £100, if it's no more than once a month, always send that payment through. That's fine. I'm happy with that. And that then is immediate transfer. And of course, at the moment, lots of SMEs aren't allowed. Their bank doesn't advance them direct debit origination on their account because they're deemed unreliable because of the back's guarantee that has to go with it. So lots of SMEs don't have access to direct debit, and even those that do, it's a multi-day process with a long time to set up. And the only option, if the consumer can't pay that direct debit 1 month, is to cancel it, which causes lots of time and money for both business and consumer. So variable recurring payments will fill that gap and enhance the service. It will give all the convenience of direct debit with lower cost and more flexibility. Okay. You can then advance that on, and for repeated payments but that aren't so regular, so you go into the coffee shop every morning, or there are some ad hoc ancillary school activities to pay for those payments that are repeated and online as well, the equivalent, a SME equivalent of an Amazon one-click, where a consumer will go there repeatedly but not necessarily regularly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, you can set parameters for the coffee shop, as long as it's no more than £5, and as long as it's no more than once a day, or not after 2 p.m. if I'm buying coffee. Those repeated payments, and if you're online, if it's from XYZ website and no more than 4 payments a month, then you can just click once and buy, and that's a far easier and smoother journey for the consumer, and all the more likely that the business will get the consumer through the checkout, and that accommodates the more ad hoc but repeated payment mechanism. And that, again, it gives friction-free payments, but with the control to the level that the consumer wants. So it gives an enhanced service more than is available today. Okay.
Something I don't know, but is that, how imminent is that's going to be available?
So the CMA, the Competition and Markets Authority, they have mandated the 9 biggest banks in the UK to build this functionality ready for January 2022. So super soon. All right. They've narrowed it to one use case only at the moment, which is sweeping. And so for all those extra use cases that I just described and gave as examples, we'd need the banks to provide that same VRP capability that they're required to build by January 22 to expand to those use cases. Yeah. But it's absolutely doable within the next several months.
Wow, brilliant. That's excellent. Okay. And I think, just look at my next question, and I think you've answered it, but what opportunities do you believe this creates for your company?
Well, so we're planning to expand the solutions that we're offering, and so we will be able to meet the needs of more SMEs and more payment types. We're an open banking platform, so whatever size company you are, whatever solution is right for you, we've got to pick a mix of solutions that you could integrate into your platform or not integrate. There's different levels of integration that you can do with our solutions as well. So it's about especially giving greater opportunity to SMEs for being able to compete and level up the playing field with corporates where they've been underserved by banks and for payment services to date.